coming to you live from sunny Arizona. The Steve Rude Show is now live.
Go. People, thanks for tuning in. This is another Steve Rude live broadcast. I know because I'm alive and you're looking at me right now. So today is going to be something different, which I'm always fond of saying. We're going to cover something different this time. There's not going to be the usual barrage of community announcements and all this stuff that is just a lot of stuff here and there. And you know, I don't think that you're really interested in hearing about that stuff, but you really do have to go to the website to find out what it is, so I don't have to repeat it on this live stream here. And so a variety of topics today. Today we're starting off at the unusual place of my oil painting area. I think you guys know that my station here, or my entire studio, is composed of different stations. Normally you see me, which is over there, at my drawing board, which is where I do all my pages, my comic book pages of Nexus and whatever else, and the water media like watercolor, acrylics and all that stuff. And then to my right here, to your left, okay, is my animation table. And you guys that have tuned in before know all about that, because that's where I do all my the things, my layouts and my animation and my storyboards and everything else on the proposed Nexus animated series. So I think you've been inundated with that information on that for quite a while now. We have yet to find anyone who's stepped up to the plate, who's really qualified to really help me out, because I think the animation industry, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's really sunk to a low level here. I think it's been so overwhelmed by the thinking of money people and lawyers. And that's the first way, that's the best way to destroy anything that was fun at one time and even profitable. If all you're thinking about is profit, then why does that inspire anyone to do good work in any business? And that's where I come in to hopefully upset the cart a little bit and bring things back to the way they used to be, where people really cared. So that's my intent with the Nexus animated show. What you're looking at right now is something I've been trying to avoid for at least 4 years. And there finally came a time when I said, okay, enough is enough. But I think that the tipping point with this painting right here is I didn't have the right kind of reference. And having the right kind of reference really anchors you to having the confidence to go in, change what you need, because obviously we're not copying photographs, or we're using them to look at for realistic little details here and there. And if some of those details don't conform to the painting as a whole, you get rid of it. And you change it according to how you feel about stuff, because art is a lot about feeling, isn't it? We did have some people that sent in a lot of new samples of their art, which I'm very glad to see. We're probably not going to go over that today. I don't think we're going to go much past a half hour. But we have some goodies coming up here as I paint away. So hopefully you guys will actually stay entertained as I enjoy myself here at the easel. I was talking with my cameraman earlier about the fact that the generation today is never going to know what it's like to paint with the way I'm doing it here, which is a shame, I guess. But when technology comes around and it suddenly becomes all the rage, well, people are going to use it regardless of whether it makes sense or not, because they're followers. Followers follow. Leaders innovate. I try to be, well, not a follower, that's for sure. But this is my lifeblood. This is I'm so glad I was born when I was. This is the lifeblood of of everyone that came before me, working with oil paint 1,000 million years before that. This is the most time-honored medium there is, and I was having a lot of trouble with my oil painting lately. I was kind of uninspired to do it, but for some reason, something just kind of happened. At least with when I got this painting out again. I got excited about it, like the way I used to be with everything that I did. And there's no rule that says you have to stay inspired for the rest of your life. But at the same time, if you're getting into an area where you're not feeling the satisfaction that you used to, well, we kind of have to do something about that, don't we? Anyway, last week I told you extremely valuable information about flamethrowers, and I know you were all thrilled to hear about that. But in fact, today we're going to cover a subject much more universal than that. Something that everyone can identify with, and I think it may be the topic of the year. It's called haircuts. I bet you're on edge now, aren't you? Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I am too. How many of you have gotten a bad haircut? I'm not saying for a second that I got a bad one. It doesn't conform at all to the shape of my face, and I think it ruins my handsome face. But it is something that everyone has probably gone through in their lifetime, especially girls. It's just a shame that I don't have a girl audience or a single girl in my audience. Otherwise, it would resonate much stronger. But you can see the brush I'm working with here. This is a bristle brush. And I had a bunch of filberts. You know, those are the longer bristles. But I cut them down to be flats because I think I'm kind of at the moment here flat happy. Getting back to haircuts. Anyone who's had a bad haircut should probably call in about now. I think it's something, obviously something we can all identify with. And I know people have gotten much worse than mine. But in fact, I'm going to take you back to the beginning of time here, at least the beginning of my time, and show you what I used to look like when I had no hair. So as you can see, a little dude there with no hair. Now that's the way I started off. I know, you're thinking, God, this guy's so handsome, even as a baby. And yet, things change over the years, and there came a time when I was living in Madison, Wisconsin, my hometown where I was born. God help the day I was born, in the hospital that made me, born me. But I was going to a technical college there, and that's where I met Mr. Campen, the guy that taught me everything about art before I moved to California, and found even more incredible teachers. But at the time, the 1980s, and this would be the early 1980s because the picture you're about to see here is directly from the 1980s when I walked in. I had the dire misfortune of walking into the MATC haircut department, and obviously we went there because we got student prices for the haircuts, and they had to practice on hair, so we volunteered, and we just took what we could get. Well, the picture you're looking at now was what I got. I remember the day so well. I actually walked in and said, "Give me a punk haircut." Now, to this day, I don't know why I said that. I hate punks. I used to have battles with them all the time with their loud music in the same apartments that I lived in. But I kicked their asses. Me being me. But that's the haircut I got. You know, the guy that ran the department was really nice. He was a really fun guy. He says, "Okay, one punk haircut coming up." And they shaved all my curls off. To which I've been beating him severely ever since. And this brings me up to the point of the here and now where you're looking at my haircut now. this is the way the hair looks now. But it's not going to stay that way because everything changes in a month. When I go back, I will not only never be getting a punk haircut again, but I will expand it out from the sides a little bit so it fits my head shape a little bit better. So how's everyone doing out there? That's normally a question I hate to ask because I hate to be asked that myself. It's too normal a question. The people that follow my work aren't normal, so be proud of that fact. I want to know what you guys have been up to. How's the, how do I ask this here? Well, I guess in a simple way. What has been occupying you guys in the last week that we last talked? I kind of want to know because I'm just that kind of a guy. So write in and tell me what you've been up to. If you're an artist, and those are the guys that normally tune into my channel, doesn't mean you have to be an artist. But it does mean you have to be cool. Because only the cool people tune into this station here, which I'm immensely proud. Not everyone can claim that, but I can. So let's hear it, folks. Something good that has happened to you last week that you weren't expecting to happen. Personally, when I ask that question to people, they always say, well, there's nothing new. Well, first thing I tell them is, well, that's impossible. You've lived another week, something must have happened, unless you're preparing for your funeral. But no one here is preparing for that right now. So I want to hear what might be on you guys' mind here about things that you're up to. You know, I always tell you guys the purpose of life is to accomplish as much as you can before we're not here anymore. I mean, that sounds like sound advice to me, of course. So let me know. Normally, in any given time, someone will report something extraordinary happened to their life in the time we last met. Don't worry, I'm not going to hammer you over the head to call in, but I know there's something good, and when there is, my camera people will alert me. My $1,000 an hour camera people will tell me what that is, and I will get on that right away.
We have a comment about what's going on.
Okay, well, all right.
From Arez Askin. He said he just got a new drafting table, and he had to rearrange the whole room to fit it in.
Okay, well, bravo to Rez. I know what it's like to get a new drafting table in. And that's actually, you know, for a guy that didn't have the right kind of table, the point is about art tables is you work your whole life to get something that's better than what you had before. Most people start off with just an ordinary desk that doesn't slant up or down, so you've always got to be looking this way and getting early back problems. And then you eventually, like most people, I don't know if they do it nowadays, but we had to make money back then. So we had to have a job. And the job gave us the bread to splurge in things that we never would have had without those jobs. I don't think people have jobs anymore. I don't know what they call it, but I don't think they have them anymore. They're too hard to find and they don't pay very good. But let me tell you, people, I want to tell you what minimum wage was when a humble dude was growing up, when I worked at Pizza Hut making pizzas. You ready for this? Now, I know some of you guys are probably thinking, oh, you made at least $11 an hour, right? Or 15 or 20. What is it, 20 nowadays? The sillies are nodding their heads over there. Well, my minimum wage is $1.86. My memory is very intact, and that's what I remember being paid back then. And we got along just fine, because that's the way it was back then.
We have another comment.
Good.
From Otten.
Let's hear it.
He says the painting is looking really nice, and he just got his first haircut since May.
Okay, so how many months is that since he got a haircut then? Or how many weeks?
That'll be, since it's January, like 7.5 months.
What? Okay, so this guy was, we're talking like hair he could donate to make a wig for the disenfranchised. And hopefully that's what the hair went to, but we're talking a guy with really long hair, I'm going to guess. We have people coming up here to give me something that I think is going to be ultra valuable. I believe what we have here, thanks to Miss Princess Gino Ginelli, is what is commonly known as throat clear tea. No, I'm not going to say that 5 times fast. Okay, that was kind of hot, so we'll set it aside for right now and get back to the painting right here. I tell you guys, anyone who's never worked with traditional medium, and he gets rarer and rarer every day, at least in the time that this guy was getting a haircut in the last 7 months, there's nothing like this. For those of you who will never experience this, I urge you to turn your life around, put the clocks back, and do it. There's nothing stopping you from trying this right now. The only thing stopping you is what people tell you nowadays, and what they're going to tell you is that's old-fashioned. We don't work like that anymore. Well, I say stick it up your nose with a rubber hose.
We have another comment about good things happening this week.
Well, this is obviously the question of the year here, so let's have it. What is it?
Yeah, Tristan, he said the good thing that he's found out that his wife and him are having another little kid.
A little kid?
Yeah.
Okay, Tristan's having another little kid. Obviously, that is massive cause for celebration. Like, for example, when Gino told me she was pregnant, I took that really well. Just like most males would do. I actually thought my life was going to be over. Because the last thing I wanted was another me. One dude in the world is plenty. And I was afraid that I was going to have to face another of me. Where there was not another me. We had Mr. Silly and Super Little Keed, who turned out to be nothing like me, and we're always incredibly grateful for that. What are we going to do with Batman here? Well, let's see. Conan is mostly done, but it's never really done, because let me tell you guys something. Whenever you think this is a what is it? What do I call it? It's a fallacy. That's a good word, Steve. Thank you, Steve. That people just go in there and just paint it and they're done, without any touch-ups or any changes or modifications. That's a bunch of crap. That's not the way the real world works. And you know, I know that all of us are very determined to live in the real world. For whatever reason, we're doing that to ourselves. Mostly this anatomy here was actually kind of made up. That's not to brag about something, because it's just not. What it is the only way anyone can take something like form, any form, and do it is because they've done it so many times that it's kind of stuck in your head in the best possible way. Now you can see it, for those of you who can see my palette at work here, you can see that I've got all my colors mixed up here, and when I run out of colors, then I've got to mix them up again. That's right, you have to redo it all the time, because you can't paint without paint.
We have speaking of paint, we have a question.
Okay, we got a question about paint, which I'm ultra excited to answer. Shoot.
So, when it comes to the paint you're using, is it just a terps oil paint, or is it linseed oil?
Okay, well, I don't really paint with turpentine, though I have it here. Actually, it's more of a mineral spirits. But officially, it's not officially turpentine. It's I've got Gamsol to wash in my second cup here. That's to wash off what the first cup with mineral spirits doesn't get off. So these silica oils, as you guys can see here, are something everyone uses. I think they're a great invention. The only problem with them is that when the sludge gets down to the bottom and everything is full, oh, I wish I had an assistant sometimes. So I do have a mixture of clove oil. No, it's not clove oil. It's what is it? It's no, you're gonna make me work for it. Okay, it's walnut oil. Hey, god damn it, you son of a bitch! Did I ruin it?
Nope.
God damn painting,
Still intact.
son of a bitch. See, this is live TV, folks, and don't expect it to go unencumbered with real events here. But still, you piece of shit. Here, this dumbass thing has to come down here for one thing. So get your dumbass down here. I don't know how that got up that high. It's not supposed to be. That's why it fell off. Get in there. All right, I gotta hate that when it happens. Oh, look at his face. His face is ruined now. Well, we're just gonna have to repaint it. Speaking of haircuts, I probably got oil paint on my hair, which is even worse than what I started off with. God damn it. So we have someone having a keyed. I guess that's in fashion these days. And we have someone that bought a drafting table, and was that it pretty much?
We have another good thing from Gabriel Stockton.
Okay.
He says he has a commissioned sketch card to work on for the DC character Black Manta.
Black Manta, he's actually, I know that character, and he's got a really cool design to him. By the way, you see what I just did there? I obliterated what I had down there, and instead of niggling with all little things here, I just brushed it all together. Look at that. Looks like an injury, doesn't it? Goddamn oil paint. You don't have this problem with watercolor, and that's another reason to not use it. But we are people that endure and always rise to the occasion. Sometimes. So how am I going to redo this here? I don't know, but I'm going to have to. Now, everyone knows what these muscles are. They like to brag about how all-encompassing their knowledge of anatomy is. I don't do that. I brag in different ways.
We have another question.
Yeah, another question.
It's from KG Buller. He wants to ask why you might prefer oil over watercolor painting.
Actually, I don't. I look at all mediums as kind of an artist playground. And what I normally do is I cite people that never experiment with things like this. They always stick to what they stick to. Either it's pencil or it's ink with comic book work, and I don't understand that. To me, I always wanted to be. I had a very lofty goal as wanting to be an illustrator, and to be an illustrator, you have to know basically everything if you're going to pull it off well. You have to know about being able to draw or be a perfect draftsman in everything you do, which obviously I'm still working on. You need to be able to work with any medium there is, because that's what you're going to be called upon to do if you're an illustrator. And thankfully, I'm always being called upon, so that's no problem here. Pastel, that's another thing that people don't use anymore. I have an entire pastel painting area over there, which I go back to every now and then. See, all these things that if I'm not working on something, like at these stations here, and I'm working out something over there, some commission piece or Nexus comic book pages, I come over here to relax and have fun. And that's what keeps me excited about what I do all the time, because Oh, I just lost my thought. That's okay. I'm an artist. It's allowed. Let me work in this a little bit more here. See, that's too pronounced. So I'm gonna block this in right here. When it comes to, let's see, I'm gonna mix up more paint, and I'm gonna do this area right here from scratch again, and then I'm gonna hopefully get something that I'm looking for, that I want, that looks like the serratus muscles right here. Okay, that's kind of okay. Now I want to go in with some, what do they call them, accents. Very subtle.
We have another comment that you'll love to hear from Arez. He says that he's currently studying art at Cal State Long Beach right now, and his class is almost completely traditional. He said there are almost no digital assignments at all.
Oh, that's got to hurt. It's got to hurt all you followers out there. Hey, sorry, I'm just not part of the following group here. I never have been. But I understand its necessity today, because when you're told to do something and you don't do it, you're going to be too much like me, and you're going to suffer for that. Let me tell you. Anyway, glad that question has inspired you all to call in. The original question was, what has happened during this last week that has really kind of made your day? You know what? Let's mix some green in here. That's something that a lot of people don't get, is the amount of colors that can be seen in something like skin. When you go hog wild with colors and skin, I call that artistic color, which is perfectly fine. It means that you're going beyond the norm that would actually be there in real life, and you're extending yourself to almost like a abstract kind of environment. I always encourage people, if they're in need of a pick-me-up, to go abstract. If you're a realist, take yourself out of the normal range of what you're used to doing. Is there oil paint on my head?
Nope, not seeing it.
I think they're not looking hard enough. But it's only my knowledge of how these muscles work, because I've drawn them a million times, that I can put them in here. One thing that's something that comic book artists routinely do, depending on the artist, obviously, they paint. They don't paint a costume over somebody. They paint skin. This as though there's no cloth over it. Now, to you purists, that can be a real problem sometimes. So we try not to be too much of a purist. Another thing that you need to do, which I'm not doing here, which I always condemn myself for, is not standing back far enough. So let's break the rules right here and just have the common sense to stand back after this stroke. After this stroke. This is how you know someone's an artist. They're always saying, give me a few more strokes and I'll be ready to go. No, they're never ready to go, see? And that's the problem with guys like us artists. It's never quite there. All right, I'm going. Come on. I'm going to step way back here. Hopefully I won't trip over stuff. And I'm going to look way back and see that it looks fairly passable. Not totally passable, but almost passable. So we're very glad to report that at the very least. This is kind of where you need the reference to come out if you're struggling on something, or you just need to step back a little bit. And that, for whatever reason, it always tends to put things in perspective in a way that you can't see close up. Hey, let's take some with this crazy blue color here and see if that works. Yeah, this is reality with painting right here. You know that phrase, it's so boring, it's as boring as watching paint dry? Well, it's only exciting to artists. I don't think people that aren't artists really understand that how, you know, the internal thing that goes on when you're working with paint. But it's always there, it's always going on. Okay. I see, said the blind man. All right. Okay, I kind of think it's okay there, but I'm not sure. But we're going to leave it alone for right now because we're just that smart. What's the timeline here, crew? Dude crew.
31 minutes.
31 minutes? Oh my God. I knew this was going to happen, and I'm going to blame you guys for this, not me. I'm happy to see that there's things going on in the world that you guys are reporting into me. Because honestly, if you're alive and you're on planet Earth, there's no such thing as a boring day.
We have another good thing from the chat.
Well, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, lay it on me, man.
From Logan, he said he picked up a nice Dirty Harry and Hellboy study from the Rude Dude store.
Oh, is that right? Mm-hmm. From the Rude Dude store. I guess that means I was probably responsible for depriving him of his entire paycheck, his weekly paycheck. Anyway, it went to a good cause. Appreciate that. Thank you. You know, sometimes I ask these incredibly profound questions here when I'm sitting here doing my thing, and I get no responses whatsoever. So obviously this whole haircut theme has hit a raw nerve. Whenever I took a painting workshop, half the thrill was watching my teachers paint. We would just stare at it almost hypnotically, watching him do something. And whenever he came to a passage that I didn't think he could do, I would say, "Oh, I don't know how he's going to do that. I don't see how that's going to work out." And then a few strokes of the brush later and paint. It turned out just right, and I was always in awe of that. And still am. But another thing that you kind of want to keep in mind is that everyone who ever picked up a brush that's been considered great over the years, this is probably how they worked. We all have to paint with a brush, and we all have to go through the process of doing big things and little things. And that's all of us do that. All the painters do that. Which you are seeing me do at this moment right here. I think we have Leonardo in here. You'd see him doing pretty much what I'm trying to do here. We're not that different. And the painting process is all kind of universal as far as how we go about doing it. But digital people will never know what that's like. And I'm always a big encourager of, I don't believe in comfort zones. I think that's ridiculous. Comfort zones are for people that are ready to give up on life. Because there's too many things that can be exciting out there to ever settle on a need not to experiment, not to have fun, all that kind of stuff that makes being alive fun. It is supposed to be fun, right? When you're dead, I don't know. You talk to someone else about that. When you're alive, you can talk to me about that.
We have a question
A question. Very glad to hear that.
from Otten. He asks, have you already said why you chose these characters to be in this painting?
Well, that's a great question. I had not the brains to think about that until he asked that very question. I think this idea came from somebody else, somebody down in Florida, who wanted me to do a commission piece with these 4 characters. So I didn't really pick them out. God damn, look what happened there. Okay, so I must have oil paint in my hair. No, they were picked out by someone else, and obviously this is based on a painting that I think, if you don't know it by now, I should probably tell you by now. This should have been brought up right away. It's a Norman Rockwell painting here. This is all based on that. Now, if you notice very carefully, I smeared a lot of stuff up here that I spent hours on. And yet, you don't see me panicking, do you? I'll do that later, but in the meantime, some very incredible new discoveries can happen when you screw up and stuff, or some kind of an accident happens. So, in Dude Land, there's no such thing as, what is there no such thing as? There's no such thing as a non-learning experience. I mean, where do you think penicillin came from, people? Well, having the learned audience that I have, we don't have to answer that because we already know. Some kind of thing about a petri dish is something that grew when it wasn't supposed to. It was supposed to die out. How exciting it is to tune into the Dude broadcast. I mean, you're simply going to find out things that no one else will ever tell you. And that's a good reason to stay tuned here. Now, we are getting to the point where I think we're going to close it up a little bit here. You saw me do this and that and screw up a couple things here, which is always part of the fun. Here's a blended halftone kind of an area there. Oh, you know what? He's got armpit hair. And I've been using this brush almost the entire time. I have a bunch of different size brushes here. Kind of a 1, 2, 3 kind of a thing. Can you guys see that? Of course you can. This is a great size to use when you're blocking in large areas, because if it's a large area, why use a small brush? And you can get very delicate effects no matter what size the brush is. Anyway, I hope to have this sort of done the next time you see me here. It's funny because we actually put this up for sale like 4 years ago when I stopped working on it. But I think I can safely say now that that is in fact a legitimate offer, because everything in Rude Dude is legitimate. All right, guys, thanks for writing in. Thanks for calling in and writing in. I hope you had a good time watching me oil paint, because I really like doing this kind of stuff. We have some announcements to read here. Thought you were going to get out of it, didn't you guys? In 5 days, people, we are launching our annual 2026 art book, sketchbook, whatever. And believe it or not, this year marks 45 years of Nexus. Can you believe that? Not me. I can't believe it. And our 2026 art book is going to celebrate it in a big way, because we don't do anything small here at Rude Dude. You'll see brand new Nexus pieces from the studio, plus we're opening up the new Nexus family. And what we're calling this is, we're calling you guys the Nexus family because it's a place where longtime fans could follow the process and help shape what comes next. So don't think for a moment you're not part of this process. This is a duality here. It's me, you, and everyone else in the world coming together and telling us what you want, and I'll think about it. I might actually do it. Next is Volume 3, Return to Earth, Studio Preview Edition. That's the book where we've been showed it online. It's a book where we cover in depth all the things that go into a comic book production. something that you would probably consider behind the scenes here. We have soft covers and hard covers available for that. So if you want to look into that, steverude.com, RTE, Return to Earth. Patreons, oh, my favorite people right here. If you're interested in seeing the full process of my art pieces, special perks on our crowdfunder, then you're in luck. And seeing my personal notes, Patreon is the most direct way you can support the studio. I guess everyone wants Patreons to back up their causes here, and I'm no different. Tell a friend. You guys got any friends out there? Tell them. If you're enjoying the stream today, show your support by telling a friend, or if you have enemies, tell them that too. And leaving a comment for other topics that we can cover in the future, because if you guys write in and I hear enough of the pleas for doing this or that, don't worry, naked girls are never going to come into the studio here. But I will think about it if we get enough comments here. And since this is YouTube, you can leave super chats and stickers to show your support to the studio directly here. And that is going to mark our community announcements for January 10th. 2026. People, the years are getting faster and faster, at least when you turn 35 or older, which I am. But day by day, it's just going so fast. If it goes too fast, I encourage you to slow it down by any means possible. I don't know if we have time travel yet, but I've been told that we do. So there's always a chance of going back if you screwed up something today. So we're going to call it for this this live stream today. Thanks for your comments. I'm glad you're tuning in. It's fun to hear what you guys are thinking. And I had a great time painting today. So maybe we'll continue this next week on the next live stream, Steve Rude live stream. So take care. We'll talk to you soon. Au revoir.